What's up, YouTube? Bryce Tui back, 2 videos in a weekend. Totally forgot that I'm trying to do weekly recaps. Didn't do one last week because it was kind of weird, right? Like June ended the same way July started, which is fine. I think I ended the week up about 49,000. We won't recap that, but 46, 47,000. Great week. July, nope, we want July. Yeah, July, this first full week of July, absolutely baller start to the month here. Up about 54,000, and on the month so far, I'm up about 70. So really just, unreal for summer trading. There's definitely a lot of action out there. There's not a lot of follow through, but this is a market where if you can adapt to that, there's still a lot of opportunity. I mean, it's wild. I'm averaging 13,000 a day. That's crazy. My best month ever was February, and I averaged 11,000 a day. So this would be sweet if I could stay on this pace. I doubt that'll happen. It probably slows down a little bit, but I don't know. The market's wild. There's a lot of volatility out there. And is basically what's going to, at this point, what's going to make my next big upswing. I can't even say that because right now my P&L is kind of starting to go parabolic again. But what's really going to cause more exponential growth than I've seen before is going to be follow through. And we might not get that until another hot sector. Excuse me as I take a drink of water. Hydrate before you dihydrate. I love staying hydrated. It's going to be that follow through, right? It's going to be when breakouts actually break out. And that's one of the biggest things. We're going to go over some charts in a minute, but even MOXY, right? Now, that being said, MOXY is extremely overextended, but this breakout was really nothing special for 26. I mean, we got to 30 over the course of 2 days. When that follow through really comes back and we're getting these breakouts that run another 50 to 100% off the breakout, that's when I'm going to be in my element. Probably I'm the most parabolic upswing I've seen yet. But until that happens, I'm going to keep playing the market scalpy because it's what works, right? And I actually tried to go for that follow through on ANYG, which I'll go over. But let's go over into trades view. You're going to see my largest trades of the week and my worst trades of the week. So what's interesting has never happened before is my biggest losers and my biggest winners are the same ticker. ANYG and Seed are my biggest losers. ANYG and Seed are my biggest winners. So basically across this week, let's see, actually we can go into, it's one of my best performing tickers. ANYG and MOXY. Seed is actually hardly there because I took a lot of losses on it. Basically trying to force trades yesterday, I lost probably 4,000 on it. But the first day, right? The first day that it ran, let's go back. Where are we? Seed. Yeah, it was yesterday. Those 2 losses were yesterday. That loss was yesterday. But then I had this $5,000 loss before my $12,000 win. So this is something that hasn't happened before, and it's because I'm using bigger size, and I know my setups, and I'll use size on the first attempt, which usually hasn't been working, or the second attempt in the case of ANYG. But that being said, it's still an amazing week. I'm not going to complain. I know these are bigger losses than I'm normally comfortable with. Normally I'd rather have these max losses around 2,500, whereas Seed and ANYG, I took 2 separate $5,000 losses. And that's fine. It's part of the game. It's part of sizing up. I'm basically risking on average $1,000 a trade now. And the average is actually a lot bigger because of these 2 losses. I'm sure if you took that loss out of the equation, I've taken 58 trades this week and I've lost on I don't know, probably 20. Actually, I think that makes sense. Win percentage, really dope, near 60% win percentage. And that's something I talked about on the Small Cap Rockets webinar that I'm going to kind of just, I'm not going to go too far into it, but I'm basically getting 2 to 1, but I'm winning 60% of the time. And if you have enough frequency of trades, in my opinion, Matt disagrees with me, your RR matters, your risk reward matters, but you don't need to be shooting for that 3 or 4 to 1. It's really dependent on that win percentage. And I know that my win percentage is high. So I'm going to just keep, obviously performing the best I can. Basically, my whole week was made by ANYG and MOXY, which is awesome. I'm fine with that. They're 2 tickers I've traded really well. I've had great plans with. And we'll continue, I'm sure we'll continue to have great tickers that provide great opportunity. So anyways, let's dig into some charts. We'll start off with ANYG. Let's clear this up. I'm not going to go over my plan for ANYG this day because you guys already saw that video. So this, I believe, was roughly the beginning of the week. What was the beginning of the week? The 5th. Okay. He literally got ANYG right here. Sold here. It sucked. Would have been a baller trade. I had, I think, 3,500 shares right here. Basically a $350 risk, which turned into a $3,500 win. I sold way early, but I mean, how do you not? Absolutely straight parabolic. I got 10 to 1 before the move even really finished. And then here, same story. I got in right here. Sold right here. It's part of the game. I have drastically underestimated the ticker. But I highlighted my entire plan for this day. And I went in with, it was either 2,500 or 3,000 shares right here at 47.90 as we broke high a day. Got 1,000 shares off up here. Added here. And I think I got my way up to 5. I don't remember what I got up to. At one point I was up to 5,000 shares. It was, it was here. I added... so I had 1,500 shares left. I added 1,500 here, 2,000 here, sold most into these pops for a $20,000 trade, even after getting stopped out the rest down here. Went for a couple of other attempts down here and unfortunately, did get, stopped out for full size losses, but I was going for another $20,000 or $30,000 trade. The confidence was there. My plan was there. And once I took those 2 losses, I took the one $3,000 loss and the one $5,000 loss, I basically took my attention off of it because I was like, okay, it failed. It happens. I'm happy with the attempt. And basically, again, guys, I'm using ranges, no surprise. It's a little mini micro range here, which is why I started here. And then here when I bought, again, I already went over this entry in a previous video. It was like an hour long ago. Watch it if you haven't. And then, I went for this entry right here. Failed. And I went for this entry right here. Failed. I was too early. I was going too early. I would have taken this loss regardless. Shouldn't have probably taken this trade as early as I did. But I'm not going to complain. There are also a couple of other ranges right there. Lots of ranges there that I was going for, but the bigger picture one was this one, which inevitably still failed, unfortunately. Part of the game, losses happen. So this is my biggest trade on the long side ever. And this was my biggest loss of the week, well, ever and for the week. And then these trades were my biggest losses for the week. Let's go over to seed. Same thing. Biggest losers and biggest winners for the week. So we had this. Let's go to like a 5-day, 10 or 10. Actually, let's go to a daily chart real quick. We basically have a super beat down daily chart, exhaustion the day before, and then we have the slight gap up. This is my favorite style of bounce trade. Really low volume gapper too. The volume really didn't come in until this push. And everyone's like, looking at this, you're too late if you buy here. And I knew that was going to happen. I didn't want to buy up here because VWAP was like right here. So basically I went for the dip and rip entry, right? I had started in here with 5,000 shares, Came down here and I was like, okay, gonna give it some room. I was down like what, probably $2,000, and I was not risking low a day. I was risking low a day with the 5,000 shares, like worst case scenario. I figured it would bounce before that, or if I started seeing like some big seller come in, I was gonna get out. And then the problem is, right, the big problem here is that I had this 5,000 from here, and then I added 5,000 here as we looked to start curling around, got stopped out under this low for that $5,000 loss. However, that being said, once I saw this consolidation above this, like what, I can't even call it a short trap because it hardly had any volume, but in technicals are technicals, whether it has volume or not. And after we broke down this low and just held and recovered, big wick here, I was a fan of that. Started in 5,000, added, I tried to add 5,000. I didn't get a full fill. So I got like 8,900 shares or something like that. And basically just sold out of this halt, some at 960. And actually I did get a sell. I think I had a sell. Let's check this. I had some pretty dope sells on that. And they weren't with a lot of size for sure. But yeah, I mean, I had pretty cool sells all the way, you know, 10. I think my average sell between all these shares is like 1038 or something. So really good sells up there. And then I had 2,700 here, you know, waiting to see if we could rip one more time. As soon as I'm pretty sure there was a seller that stepped in and I got out. I did get to scalp it again here. Got here, and I thought we had potential for another halt up. We didn't. We tried our best. So I had here, sold most of my shares on this pop after it failed, and then sold the rest here when that kind of broke that little mini micro consolidation. Bought again, knowing basically it was going to be a scalp, and sold into, again, another failed push. So all good, really good trade overall for nearly $12,000. Yeah, I mean, just really, really great potential there. So now, we can go over to MOXY too. I had a couple good trades on that. So I got in MOXY around this area as we had this really weird volume surge, which normally is the telltale sign that something is going on with MOXY. Ideally, my entry should have been here. It wasn't. The next good entry was here. I actually think I got in here and then added here. You know, no, I chased it. I actually chased it. I remember this. I literally bought the top of this candle. That's what it was. I started in the top, risking down here, and then added my shares here. I did not get in here. I didn't get in here. I bought in the top here, basically after. I'm not generally a fan of buying after the high of daybreak, but it hadn't gone parabolic yet. So I call it chase size, where worst case scenario, I get stopped out for like $1 a share loss. Then I think I added 2,000 shares here. We had this spike up, really nice trade. It was one of these ones. It was this one right here, $5,600. Nope, it wasn't that one. I lied. Which one was it? This one? Where was it? Aha, it was this one. Oh, and then I bought again up here. Okay, so either way, that was a nice trade. I had a lot of good trades on it. Let's look at this one real quick. Oh yeah, dip and rip style entry. Selling up into these pops, basically recycling. I trade MOXY really well. It's a really weird one to trade, but I personally trade it pretty well, so keep doing it. ACY was a really fun one that I locked in 3,500 on. I took 3,500 or 3,000 shares right here. It was on this candle. I mean, this is like my low volume setup. I love these. Got a pop up into the 14s from my 1243 entry. So locked in on $3,500 for the trade. And then SSNT was a really weird one, but we had this breakout, so I bought in. Let's see, where was it? Started in here because I saw it late. Added here with the $14 area on the level 2. It had this little mini micro consolidation, came back down. Added here with my final risk being on 13.8. And I basically probably broke this, but basically after the level 2 shifted, it looked pretty dunzo to me, so I got out everywhere between 14.7 and 14.3. And that was a nice, you know, $3,500 trade. I think SSNT is actually one of my best tickers of all time too. One of my better ones, yeah. For how low volume it is, pretty good. So yeah, guys, that's basically, those are my top tickers, you know, good and bad overall, ending the week up, like I said, $54,000. And I mean, it's, you know, I've sized up quite a bit for this, and I'll continue to use size as the setups present themselves. I'm staying scalpy. The key for me is getting in early before the move happens, because if you miss it, it's over. It's too, chasing it for me for the most part after the volume has come in is too risky right now, you know, unfortunately. So I'm just like, you know, trading as well as I can. And we're going to just, you know, try to keep pushing forward here. So I hope this video kind of helps show you things I look at, and just some thought process into my best week in a while. I don't have like a calendar view where I can see by week. Probably should do that today. Maybe I'll do that today. And this is definitely one of my better weeks in a long time, though, probably since February. You know, new biggest trade, new biggest, actually not new biggest loss. My biggest loss still remains as SLGG short, but new biggest trade of all time, over $20,000. Really, really sick trade. And yeah, guys, hopefully this helped. And I will be back to you guys at some point with another video. Later, guys.